Good afternoon, everyone. I am going to tackle about the right and the good. So what is the right and the good? The right and the good is about rightness, goodness, and their relation to each other. Rightness is a property of acts, while goodness concerns various kinds of things. One of the criticisms that was given to the philosophy of Immanuel Kant was that his philosophy seemed to be too absolutistic, as it focused only on following one's duty as the norm of moral action. Kant failed to consider the consequence of one's action. At the same time, Kant did not make any mention about how to make decisions in situations wherein there will be conflicting duties. One of the criticism na taghatag sa philosophy ni Immanuel Kant was that his philosophy na tumutugon lamang sa pagsunod sa kanyang tungkulin bilang pamantayan ng moral na pagkilos. At the same time, waya ni Kant i-mention kung unsaon paghimo ng desisyon sa mga situations. And according to Ross, absolutely rules are insensitive to the consequences of an act. This is the case of the ethics of Immanuel Kant. Ross held that there are situations where the imposed rules may already be irrelevant to the ever-changing situations. However, he was also aware of the problem of the utilitarian principle of justice due to the upholding of the happiness of the greatest number to the detriment of the minority. It is for this reason that William David Rose developed an ethical principle which is combination of the deontological principle with a utilitarian favor. According kay Balikan Ross, diay mga rules na insensitive to the consequences of an act. Ini na case of ethics ni Immanuel Kant. Tagtuohan kay bali ni Rose na ang situation ma-impose gajud ang rules na pwede gad siya bago-bago ang situation. However, na aware gapon si Rose sa problem of the utilitarian principle of justice due to the upholding of the happiness. The life of William David Rose. Sir William David Rose was a Scottish philosopher. He was born in Thurso in northern Scotland. His father, John Rose, was the first principal of the Maharajas College of Travancore in India. It was India where William spent the first 6 years of his life. Afterward, Rose returned to Scotland and received his early education at the Royal High School in Edinburgh. He attended college of the University of Edinburgh and in 1995. He graduated with first-class honors in classical studies. He continued his education in Balliol College, Oxford, graduating in 1898 with first in classics and humanities. In 1990s, William was offered a lectureship of Oriel College in Oxford. He remained at Oxford for nearly 50 years, serving on the faculty and various administrative positions, including provost of Oriel College from 1929 to 1947 and as vice chancellor from 1941 to 1944. In 1900, si William David Rose operan siya ng lectureship sa Oriel College in Oxford. Nag-stay siya sa Oxford for nearly 50 years, serving on the faculty and various administrative positions. Kabilang na dirian Oriel College from 1929 to 1947 and also the Vice Chancellor from 1941 to 1944. Rose's career was a mixture of academic and other civic responsibilities. In 1915, he began a career in the army where he was soon raised to the rank of major and where he was honored as officer of the British Empire. In 1918, he served as Deputy Assistant Secretary in the Ministry of Munitions for more than a year. In 1938, after giving a lot of contribution for public service, he was made Knight of the Order of the British Empire. In 1950, nagsugod ang career ni William David Rose, raised to the rank of Major. Tapos, pinarangalan sad siya as a officer of the British Empire in 1918. In 1938, si William David Rose is taghimo siya na Knight of the Order of the British Empire. Rose's intellectual thinking was influenced by G.E. Maury and H.E. Pritchard. It was from them that he was able to develop from ethical institutionalism, although his work stood in his own right in maintaining that where ethical intuitions are concerned, that we should put into our minds are the prima facie obligation to act dutifully, though such duties can be overridden by other stronger duties depending on situations. The ethical principle of William David Rose. William David Rose held that in determining the morality of an action, it is important to know the rightness and the goodness of an act before making a moral decision. Rose held that there are two indispensable qualities of a moral act, right and good. William David Rose held that sa pagtukoy sa moralidad ng isang aksyon, grabe ka importante na himbawaan ang rightness and the goodness. Nan isa ka tawo deserve pa ka maghimo ng moral decision. Tagtuuhan ni William David Rose na joy duha ka kinahanglan sa isang moral na kilos, ang ang right and the good. Right and the good are distinct, indefinable, and irreducible objective qualities of an action. Rightness, in this sense, belongs to the action independent of motives, and also goodness, on the other hand, belongs to the motives. These are the two distinct qualities in as much as we can have a right action with a bad movie, or a wrong act that can originate from a good motive. Right and good are the only two essential properties of moral action. For Rose, an action could only be considered good if it comes from a right action coupled with a good motive. The actual duty versus the prima facie duty. Actual duty is one real duty in a given situation. It is the action that we ought to choose from among many other choices of actions. On the other hand, the prima facie duty is that which is directs or commands what one ought to perform when other relevant factors are taken into account. Prima facie is a Latin term which means at first glance or so far as it appears.
So, ang actual duty is amo ini sidyang action na need pa nimo mag-decide kung uno na action na ato is showcase towards sa mga certain na mga buta. While ang prima facie duty or prima facie Latin word which is mean at first glance, ini na action is ang mga certain na action na direct as kusa siya mo showcase na dili pa need pag-isipan.